Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 New Dawn run. Hope you're all doing well. So, today is going to be the first video of the new year, if I've counted correctly, and of course, the new year is all about growing and changing, so let's see how much we can do that by playing the Apprentice, which gets more powerful as we level up, with the Quarterstaff, which is going to make us level up more. This is a fun combination because, obviously, the extra levels that we get from the XP gain with Quarterstaff will give us a bunch of damage. Now, that will only scale the Quarterstaff so much, because it only scales with a portion of our melee damage, but it will mean that any other damage items we get are going to be incredible for this character, because if we get anything... A box there is really nice as well. If we get anything that uses the extra damage that we're getting from the Apprentice, then that's just going to be an incredible boost. Now, Lens I'm still going to ban here. The 5 materials are very much worth it, and ranged damage is the one we're least likely to be able to make use of with alternate damage sources. Elemental damage and engineering are both much easier to find ways to add, whereas ranged damage, only Baby with a Beard really scales off that. Here, I'm in a roll, and I'm looking for harvesting, and I missed 2 times. I'll just take 1 armor here. Armor is always going to be incredibly valuable, but we also are getting more of it because we're building quarterstaffs. We'll go ahead and pick up another staff. We'll lock a scar. Small fish I'll leave in the pool, but not lock right away. I'm really looking for items like this Lost Duck that improve our economy significantly, and then we'll buy another quarterstaff. Roll again, and roll again. Quarterstaff is a weapon that is kind of hard to find lots of, because it has 2 weapon tags. One of them is primitive, so there's a lot of other items that you can find alongside it. And it's not cheap. It's a medium price weapon, so it's very hard to find lots of copies of Quarterstaff in the opening rounds. So we're... 3 is still a little bit on the low side, but not wildly out of scale with what you would expect. We'll pick up 5 harvesting here, and then we get another staff, and that costs 22, so if I roll into another one here, we can buy it. Well, that's really good. Being able to pick up 5 in the first 2 shops is more than you expect from this weapon. The other nice thing, of course, about this weapon is that the Apprentice can really struggle with defensive stats. Obviously, your HP decreases every time you level up instead of the normal increase. So this character can really struggle with having low health. But because Quarterstaff is a primitive weapon, it boosts your HP. And because it is a medieval weapon, it gives you some defensive stats to go alongside that. Here, I will take 2 more armor, and now we will have amazing armor in the early game. And we'll pick up 5 more harvesting, grab another quarterstaff and a scar. I'll leave the Lost Duck locked here, and I'm going to roll. We'll go ahead and ban a Gummy Berserker, and I'm going to roll again. I'm really looking for another quarterstaff if possible, but we're happy to lock a coupon. 5 is a pretty expensive reroll, so we're just going to go to the next wave here. That was some very weird movement there. I couldn't decide which direction I wanted to go, so I just ran back and forth. Not exactly what you should be doing. Typically, it is better to commit to a course of action, even if it's not the right one, than to just waffle between 2 of them. So you'll notice that I just wiggled back and forth there and wasted some time. Gonna run over here and get that Curse Alien kill. Is there a chance I can get this other one? Not quite. I don't quite have the attack speed there, so that's a little unlucky, but still fine. I'm going to roll here. We have 12 harvesting, so if I find another harvesting upgrade, then that'll get us to 20 really quickly. I missed twice, so I'll just take 6 max HP. As the Apprentice, building maximum health is going to be incredibly important, and it's hard to do because we lose max HP every level, and we are getting more levels because we're using Quarterstaff. Here, I'm actually going to take 10% attack speed over 6 melee damage. This weapon scales its damage based on your character level as well as your melee damage, and it only scales melee damage at 50%. So the 6 melee damage only increases our damage by 3. Attack speed is both harder to come by and more important for us. We're going to buy both of these. We'll go ahead and ban the glasses. I'm just banning level 1 items because I just want to improve our character as much as possible in the short term, so we want to make sure that we have good level 1 chops. We'll lock the mushroom here. Regen is going to be really important, and then we will roll again. Defective steroids and padding, I'm going to buy both of. Any increase to our max HP is extremely powerful and extremely necessary on the Apprentice. Basically, this character gets so much economy for free from the extra damage that you get that all you need to do is offset the downsides of playing the Apprentice, and your runs should be pretty strong in general. So that's why this weapon is nice, even though you don't get the full benefit of the free melee damage because of the lower scaling. You gain a big offset to the HP loss, and it will scale the damage of your attacks itself anyways, because the levels will mean that you'll get more melee damage. So even if you're not getting full scaling, your actual damage on your weapons will still be higher. I'll take 2 more armor here, just a level 2 upgrade, and then we will buy all of these items and then roll. Lock a Quarterstaff. Now, typically on the Apprentice, you don't want to buy damage items, and in general, that's even more true for Quarterstaff, which has lower scaling. Quarterstaff, unlike other weapons that have alternate scaling, does increase the melee damage scaling as you level it. So while it's only 50% at level 1, 65 at level 2, and it goes up to 100 at level 4. But building around what your weapons will be like when they're all level 4 is usually a mistake. What the weapon level that matters the most in this game is level 2, because that's the one that you are most easily and reliably able to reach that still gives you a decent amount of power. So typically when you're considering how strong a weapon is going to be and how you should scale it, you should think of the level 2 version of the weapon. Here I'm going to ban both of these items, and then we'll do a reroll. Fertilizer we'll buy, of course. Ritual, I think, is probably worth buying as well, because I have no percentage damage boost. The lifesteal isn't incredible for a slow attacking melee weapon, but still relevant. And we're not using engineering. And given that I'm buying the ritual here, I'm actually going to lock the white flag. Not because we want to buy it, but because when we buy the other 3 items in the shop and then ban white flag, we'll get a free reroll. So it uses our bans a little more efficiently. More attack speed is something that I'm really looking for. Something like a pocket factory would be a big deal as well. Just any alternate source of damage that uses the fact that we have all these free stats from Apprentice. Obviously, a nail or a frozen heart would be really good as well, because the Apprentice just gives you a ton of engineering and elemental damage for free. So if you find items that scale off of those, or help your weapons scale off of those, it's a huge benefit for this class. Got a crate there, which is nice. Sharp bullet. I think I'm going to take the sharp bullet. Yes, it costs me % damage, which is a little painful, but we will use pocket factory really well if we find it, and sharp bullet will improve the power of that significantly. So I think it's worth grabbing there. Here, I'm going to take 8 harvesting. The 2 armor is also very tempting, but getting to 21 harvesting is really nice. I could take 8% damage or 10 luck, or I could roll for another stat here. Let's just take 10 luck. At this point in the game, I still want to boost my economy. Although, actually, I forgot that I had a fertilizer locked in the shop. Given that I had the fertilizer, I should have just taken the 2 armor, because we would still have gotten to 20 plus harvesting, and I would have had 2 more armor, which obviously is really good. So a bit of an error there, I think. I'll buy the beanie, we'll lock another scar. Even more levels, of course, will scale our weapon damage and just make the character more powerful. We'll ban charcoal, because these flat damage items are not very strong for the Apprentice. And then we will lock a banner as well. I'm going to leave the other 2 in the pool. Pencil I would ban, but Snake I'm going to leave because it'll go well with Scared Sausage or Incendiary Turret if we end up wanting to make use of those. I'm not going to buy it until we have those items, because it's just wasted money until we have items that go with it. But leaving it in the pool is a low cost and with potentially real upside. Now, this Cursed Walrus is super dangerous. My damage isn't that high, and this is a healer wave. So we're not going to be able to kill the Walrus. I'm just going to run away from it and tank damage from it while trying to focus on clearing everything else on the wave and breaking these trees and everything. Okay, there's a loot alien. I don't know that we're going to be able to get it. I will try. Nice. So I lost a little money because we had the Cursed Walrus this wave, but we're still doing very well. Peaceful Bee is a great find as well. The medieval weapon tag on the Quarterstaff gives us 6% dodge, so with a Peaceful Bee, that gets us to 10%. Suddenly, the amount of dodge we have means that buying dodge is actually pretty good for this character. Take a black belt as well, and then I'm going to reroll these stats. Do I want to just take 9 dodge now? Once you start building dodge, getting to 19 really makes dodge fairly efficient, so I think I will do that. I was planning to just take attack speed if an attack speed upgrade showed up, but since one didn't, without rerolling more times, starting to build dodge is going to help defend our character quite a bit. I will buy both of these items, of course. The extra attack speed is incredible on Banner. That's something we needed very badly. And then we'll just ban Terrified Onion. It's a pretty weak item overall, so we can get a free reroll here. I could have bought it as well for the reroll, but I think banning it is going to generally be stronger. I'm going to lock the Cute Monkey, and I think I will buy the Thunder Sword here. This is a very powerful weapon that does a ton of damage when you're playing the Apprentice, because you gain damage scaling from both halves of the damage types. And going down to only 5 Quarterstaffs is not going to hugely impact our character. It will reduce my dodge and my HP, but the Thunder Sword's extra clear speed and extra damage is, I think, going to be worth it. It's also fun to get to use that weapon because it's only a good weapon in some builds that are building 2 damage types, and this is one of the few that actually does that. So getting to use a very powerful weapon that doesn't actually see a lot of use is always going to be fun. As we level up, you can see our damage per attack is just increasing on its own, so we don't have to spend that much on increasing our damage output, mostly attack speed. Percent damage is also nice, but our base damage is going to be really high just from our levels and the free stats we're getting. Making sure to kill those cursed enemies as well for the extra money. Here, just 2 more armor, and then do I want 10 harvesting? Wave 8? When are my elites? So I have an elite on wave 12. I think I will take the 10 harvesting. If we had a wave 11 elite, I might have tried to get short-term combat stats. But I think that because we don't have a major enemy until wave 12, a boss wave until wave 12, we can get away with waiting 1 more level. I'll take the Thunder Sword here, and then buy the Defective Steroids just for a little more HP. You can see my max HP is now really low, so I do need to find more maximum health before we fight an elite. Although the fact that we have 10 armor does offset the fact that we have really low health somewhat. Still not where I would prefer to be, but our offensive stats continue to scale really well. We just need to fix our defensive stats, which is obviously the way that it is on the Apprentice. I'm curious what the damage difference will be between the Thunder Sword and my other weapons. The Thunder Sword is lower range, so some of its damage is just being stolen by the Quarterstaffs. Okay, I want to make sure I attack this group of enemies, but also get the tree. And treasure map will definitely take. I'll take 9 move speed. My move speed is fairly poor, but that fixes it. I could start building dodge here even more. Let's just take the 6 dodge, and then here I get a level 15 upgrade, so this is a guaranteed level 3 upgrade. So I'm going to roll for max HP. 25 is too low, so I really want to take a plus 9 HP upgrade here. Buy both of these. Cyberball and Sword we don't really need, so I'll pass on those. Rip and Tear is really nice for the Apprentice as well. This is an item that scales off our melee damage, which we get tons of for free. So we'll take the Rip and Tear. I'll take the Gambling Token. I have negative crit chance, so we'll pass on the Tentacle here, I think. And then let's upgrade our Quarterstaffs even further. So I hope everyone has had a wonderful end of the year, and obviously I wish you all the best going into the new year. This for me has been, as for many people, a difficult year in many ways, but one thing that has always been incredible this year is the channel, and I really want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching, who's been commenting. Really appreciate all of your support. It just means so much to me, and I hope that it has been, you know, a spot of entertainment and joy in the last year and in the year to come. Here, I will take 9 dodge, actually. 32 HP is obviously terrible, but at the point where we have 33 dodge, dodge is the most efficient defensive stat that we can buy in terms of increasing our effective HP, and while our health is going to keep decreasing, we'll be able to fix that over time. I'll take 16% damage here because our percent damage is negative. It's a level 4 upgrade, so obviously we want that. Take a fish hook and a mushroom. Tyler, this is another item that scales with the free engineering and the free elemental damage that we're getting, so we'll pick up the Tyler. I'll roll here, I'll take a black belt, and just gonna reroll again. Baby squid is great, and in fact, I'm gonna lock all of these items. This is a really strong shop for us. Oh yeah, I guess my max HP is lower than I thought because we have padding, so some of it's fake. So given that maybe I was supposed to take the 9 HP instead of the 9 dodge last wave, because 27 real HP is still on the very, very low side. We also have no consumable healing, which decreases our survivability significantly. At this point in the game, most characters will have picked up 1 consumable healing item, which is going to be a huge proportion of your healing as you go into your first boss wave. So not having any does make us a lot less survivable. One thing that I think is worth doing if you are looking to improve at this game is look at when you win and lose a wave. Take a look at what types of items you have in your inventory, and when you win a run or when you lose a wave. And one correlation that you're going to find that is extremely strong in almost all cases is that runs that you win, you have consumable healing items, and runs that you lose, you don't have them. They make a vastly out of scale difference to how successful a run is. Here I'm going to reroll, and we'll take 6 HP because that's really important. And 2 cursed items, amazing. So we'll buy the black belt and the baby squid. We'll take the defective steroids. I'm going to try to curse the thunder sword still. And do I want the snail here? Slowing enemy move speed, given especially that my regeneration is not great, actually seems pretty good. So I'm going to buy the snail. I'll lock these 2 items for our fishhook, and we'll go to the next wave. 33 HP, still, of course, very, very low, but doable for most elites. And this elite shouldn't be too bad for this character in general. I do need to kill these ranged enemies. This elite wants you to stand still, because it doesn't attack directly on top of you, but instead to either side of you. But the ranged enemies can pressure you into moving, make you more likely to take a hit from it. So killing the clams there was really important. But we were able to consistently DPS it down, kill the clams, and because I have really high armor, even with low health, we were able to survive. That, just to speak to what I was talking about last wave, that wave would have been much safer with even 1 point of consumable healing. You can go back and see how much of the healing that we did from the damage we took was from picking up fruits, and how much more reliable it would have been if I'd had 1 more point. Take the Sift's Relic, that's obviously incredible. I already have the slower enemy movement from the snail. Wandering Bot, I think I'm going to take it. That just seems kind of fun to me, and then we'll take 9 HP here. Let's go with the Vigilante Ring and the Peacock, because the Thunder Sword, I would still like to get cursed. Attack speed matters a ton, so I'm going to lock the small magazine. If that gets cursed, it'll be pretty powerful for us. And then a cursed celery tea could be nice as well, so we'll lock that also. I haven't found that many weapon levels. I definitely would like to improve those. So this wave, very dangerous. It's a peacock wave. So I need to be aware of that. With only 40 HP, increasing enemy damage is obviously very threatening. Making sure to kill the cursed enemies first before too many of them get on the field. Something that's worth considering on Abyssal Terrors or when you have high curse is that there can only be a certain number of enemies on the field. Once enough enemies spawn, the ones that were already there start despawning. But you can still have the maximum number of enemies increase in how dangerous they are if a higher proportion of them are cursed. So if you're worried about not being able to clear the whole wave, killing the cursed enemies first makes you a lot safer, because then when the wave caps out with the number of enemies that are out there, fewer of them will be cursed, so it'll be less dangerous. I'll take the celery tea here. That might mean that I don't want the second one if it didn't get cursed. I'll take 3 armor just because it's the higher level upgrade, and then 4 regeneration, and then here I'm going to reroll and take 15 luck, I guess. I do want to get my luck back to positive. All right, well, this fishhook is up to a 30% pity bonus. I think we're going to pass on the celery tea now. I've already got 1, and while I did want this Thunder Sword to be cursed, I will just get it to level 4. A level 4 Thunder Sword is a ton of damage. Do I still want the small magazine? I think so. My percent damage is bad, but my attack speed is even worse, and attack speed is more important. So we're gonna pick that up, and then we'll lock all of these items. With 30% pity bonus, maybe our fishhook can finally get it together. I wanted to combine to a level 4 Thunder Sword, because Thunder Sword levels really well. Going from 3 to 4 is a really strong upgrade for the weapon. And although it would be more damage output overall to have 2 level 3s, we would lose another stack of the primitive weapon tag and another stack of the medieval weapon tag, which I didn't want to do because my defensive stats are still obviously the challenge point for this character as an apprentice run. So making sure that I didn't give up too many of those is the most important consideration. So that's why we leveled rather than combining 2 of our staffs and picking up a second Thunder Sword. Take the propeller hat here. Muscly dude, that's one of the best items we could find. Melee damage scales all our weapons, and HP is really important. We'll take 6 more HP. All right, we got a cursed quarterstaff. That's great. And then, yeah, I'm just going to buy all of these things. Why not? Here's a scared sausage and another quarterstaff. I could buy the whetstone. So we do have the thunder sword, which obviously, because it does a lot of multi-attacks, is good with lifesteal. But I think I'm just going to roll here, and we'll lock a gentle alien. That's another really solid item for us. Another thing that's good about our Thunder Sword setup is we can attack the elite, and the lightning will help clear the rest of the wave, so it's a lot safer. Also, you can actually see the Wandering Bot doing quite a bit of work here. It's slowing this elite, which this elite is usually much harder to dodge than for this character, but because the Wandering Bot is slowing the elite and the enemies that are approaching us, we actually had a lot more room to maneuver than you usually would. So even though that's typically not a very strong item, it can still do stuff when you get it for very cheap. The Scared Sausage will also be really good because we have the Thunder Sword, and that will apply the burning damage, as will our Tyler. So we're going to benefit a lot from the free elemental damage that the Apprentice gets. Yeah, it's plus 3 damage on the power generator, so we'll take it. And I guess we are using elemental damage reasonably well, so I'll pick that up. All right, well, going to 60 dodge cap, going up to dodge cap with the cape is incredible. Even though it costs me a bunch of stats and we're using all those stats, going up to 60 dodge is just amazing. I'm going to roll here and take attack speed. That's the stat we need the most still. And I'll take 3 more regeneration. Just boosting that, again, increases my survivability more than almost anything else. Let's combine and get a level 4 Cursed Staff. Typically, you want to combine your cursed weapons to their highest level, because it's like having 2 level 4 weapons combined into one. How many levels do I think I'm likely to get off the fertilizer? Not that many, so I think I'll pass on it and the goat skull. We'll just roll here. We will go ahead and buy that. I'll lock the quarterstaff and roll again. And let's lock both of these. We do have 1 rip and tear. So explosion size and explosion damage work with that, but nothing else that we have, so I think we'll pass on the honey. Everything that's getting set on fire from the scared sausage is just dying to the attack that sets it on fire, so we're just not getting any value from it currently, but that's okay. It's still a potentially powerful and very fun item in some scenarios, and one of the things that the Apprentice can make really good use of. Also, Sift's Relic works really well for this build because our damage is spread out quite a bit at this point with the Thunder Sword and the Tyler and everything, so being able to pull in all those materials is very helpful. Yeah, we'll take another Scar, why not? And then 3 more armor, and I'm over dodge cap still, so let's roll here, and I'll just take 10% attack speed. We'll definitely take a Cursed Wolf Helmet. That's amazing, and we'll buy a Quarterstaff and leave these 2 locked. You can see our Tyler, because it scales off of engineering and elemental damage, and the Apprentice gets both of those for free. Normally, when you buy that item, you are not expecting it to do a bunch of damage, because you'll only be benefiting from one of the 2 scaling types. But when you're playing a character that gets both, like the Apprentice or like the Techno Mage, you benefit a ton from having 2 types of scaling. 2 types of scaling is something that I think people generally overrate having, because having alternate types of scaling usually doesn't increase your damage, because it's just less efficient to buy the second type of damage than to just keep buying more of the first. But when you're getting those damage types for free, it can be very powerful. Take the jerky here. So I did take a celery tea going into an elite wave, which is a little risky, but because it was a cursed celery tea, I just don't think it's going to be that dangerous. The whetstone will help us heal a lot. We'll buy corrupted shard and tree. Do I think the bag is going to pay for itself? So we're going to get 15 back immediately from the elite. We have 50 luck. We get a free reroll, so we get 18 back as well. So I think the bag will pay for itself plus a little bit, which is all you really want from it. Buy a couple of other items here. Buy defective steroids. Lock a lure. The cursed rock is a little interesting, but I feel like we can do better. Lighthouse, I just don't have enough engineering items for Lighthouse to be good, and we don't need Baby Gecko either, because we have Sif's Relic already. So this is a more dangerous elite, because we did buy Celery Tea. So it's got plus 50% health. But as you can see, our damage is high enough that even an increased health elite is not that dangerous for us. Actually, I'm more scared of this mini-boss, because it has a harder to dodge attack pattern. The cursed mini-boss, and a fairly comparable amount of health. Obviously not nearly as much as the elite, but way more than you might expect. Wave 18 elites are always challenging on Abyssal Terrors for that reason, because the mini-bosses, it's hard to stop them from spawning, since you're focusing your damage on the elite instead of on the stargazers or the towers. And if enough of them spawn, it makes dodging the elite really hard, and they do so much damage themselves that if you dodge the elite but get hit by them, you can die immediately. I'll take a free goat skull here. We'll take 4 more armor going up to 22. We'll take 15 attack speed. We'll take 16 damage. Getting really high level ups, which is nice. We'll take the lure. With 52 regen, Weird Ghost is totally safe to buy, I think. And we'll buy the goldfish and take a reroll. I'll lock a thunder sword. I'll buy a Cyclops worm, and I'll lock a night goggles. This, if it gets cursed, will boost my crit chance to a really high level. So I'm totally fine with that, and then I'll do one more reroll here, lock a cauldron, and go to wave 19. I think having these items cursed is the most important thing, and we won't have the money to buy anything more than the items I've already locked, so that's what I'm going for with our fishhook locks here. Those are all expensive items, but they will all add significantly to the power of our character. I probably won't buy the night goggles if they don't get cursed. The downsides are high, and we have negative crit chance. So without the extra crit chance from it being cursed, it's probably not worth it. But if it does get cursed, it's a really big boost to our damage output. Oh yeah, also getting the lure made the bag significantly more reliable in terms of paying for itself as well. Though we haven't gotten any random crate drops, I think, since I bought the bag, so that's a little sad. Just the ones that we were guaranteed. Leather vest, yeah, I think 2 armor is still worth 3 HP here. We'll take the ice cube, we'll take the penguin, and then I'm going to roll, and we'll take 9 speed, which is also 9 damage, because I have a power generator, and here I think I'll just take 4 lifesteal. It's a high level upgrade. Now, sadly, nothing got cursed, so I think the thing that makes the most sense to do is just to buy the second Thunder Sword. It's such a huge increase to our damage. Sadly, I'm too short of the Cauldron, and we've only got 42 HP, but that's the Assassin for you. And then I will buy Claw Tree. It's 3 melee damage for -1 HP. The 7% crit chance doesn't do anything because it just brings us back to 0. Although it does mean the base crit chance of our weapons, the 3% base, is gonna function. So I guess we basically got 3% crit chance there. But the 3 melee damage is fine and worth losing the HP from the padding for, I think. But having gotten so much more damage, and of course we had the cursed baby squid in a quarterstaff run with all the XP gain items that we've gotten, so our regeneration is absurdly strong, even without fairy. Usually to get regen numbers this high, you would need fairy. But for this character, we got 57 regen the fair way by getting 30 of it off the baby squid. Alright, so taking a look at our items. 246 from Coupon, that's actually a little low. We didn't end up with huge economy boosts in the early game, but the Apprentice gets so much free economy from all of the damage stats that even though the actual raw material numbers were a little lower, the overall stat bonuses of our character were incredibly high. 4 scars, of course, great, and that meant that all of our quarterstaffs were doing an absurd amount of damage per swing because they scale with our levels, which we have 34 of. 235% of our character level on the first level 4 quarterstaff is just ridiculous as well. These 4 defective steroids were a big component of our success as well. That's 8 HP. The 8 melee damage is less relevant, but still useful, but 8 HP matters a lot. The padding was good. The treasure map gave us 3 items, so it was solid. 66 HP off Cute Monkey, that's really nice. 25k damage off Rip and Tear. We never got an explosion size item, so this didn't end up being that good. And because I had the Thunder Swords, that was doing a lot of our AoE damage in general. 23k damage off Tyler, so again, it was pretty solid, but not amazing. What else? We got 24 damage from the Vigilante Ring. We got 68 extra XP gain from the Celery Teas, which let us hit level 34. 30k damage from Scared Sausage, so it just did ridiculously well. The Scared Sausage that we got quite late. The bag gave us 90, so it was worth it. It basically doubled what we spent on it, and that's usually the metric for whether a pure economy item has paid off. Turret only did 4k, so not that exciting. But overall, just a very clean Apprentice run. Quarterstaff, super fun weapon. Just all the levels that you get from it is always going to be really great. And a very synergistic weapon for this character. Alright, my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed the run. And of course, if you have, then feel free to leave a comment and hit like. And I hope that this first video of the new year and all subsequent videos treat you well, and I hope you enjoy them. Of course, you can subscribe to my channel to see more of these. Happy New Year, everyone, and I will catch you next time.